Hi friends, welcome to the channel of doubts. Today we are going to discuss how credit cards are used in the ancient period. While late, let's roll into today's concept. Credit cards may seem like a contemporary convenience that is assuming the place of paper money and coinage. Credit systems have actually been in place for centuries, and it all began with the hardwood industry. Wooden tally sticks were one of the first reliable forms of credit adopted by cultures around the world during the medieval period. This system was a necessity in almost every major civilization at that time because gold and silver were highly limited. Now, what are tally sticks? Tally sticks are an ancient mnemonic device to record and document numbers, quantities, or even messages. Who invented tally sticks? In one telling, they were invented by King Henry I, son of William the Conqueror, when he became king in 1100 AD. History of tally sticks. The Romans brought their currency to Britain when they colonized the island. When they retreated, in 410 AD, the British people were so accustomed to Roman coins that they continued to use them. The imperial currency survived far longer than the Roman Empire itself. Over the course of several centuries, those Roman coins slowly fell out of circulation. Some were spent abroad, to buy imports, and never seen again. Others were melted down to make jewelry and ornaments. By the time the Middle Ages arrived, there were very few coins left in Britain. At the same time, people still bought and sold things using gold and silver coins. This posed a problem: how could people trade in gold and silver, if there was very little of the stuff in the country? The answer was simple: debt. Let's use an example. Say you buy a horse from me, and we agree that horse is worth 5 gold pieces, but you don't have 5 gold pieces, because there is so little gold in circulation. In this case, I would give you the horse and you would owe me 5 gold pieces. You would be in my debt. In time, you may acquire the gold to pay me back. Or, alternatively, you may acquire other things I might like. In this example, we have traded using gold, even though no such gold exists. This works well as long as we know and trust one another. And, in the Middle Ages, that was usually the case. People lived in strong communities, in which everyone knew each other, and knew who to trust. But, as society expanded, there arose situations in which a handshake was not sufficient to guarantee a debt would be repaid. People needed to create contracts, to ensure their debts were honored. They needed the state to secure those contracts in law. In a time when literacy levels were low and paper was rare, these contracts took the form of a tally stick, a length of wood, usually made from hazel or willow. Principally, there are two different kinds of tally sticks, the single tally and the split tally. Let us first discuss about the single tally. The single tally stick was an elongated piece of bone, ivory, wood, or stone which is marked with a system of notches. The single tally stick serves predominantly mnemonic purposes. These are used as messenger sticks, the knotted cords, quipus as used by the Inca Empire. Now it's time for split tally. The split tally was a technique which became common in medieval Europe, which was constantly short of money and predominantly illiterate, in order to record bilateral exchange and debts. A stick was marked with a system of notches and then split lengthwise. This way the two halves both record the same notches and each party to the transaction received one half of the marked stick as proof. Later this technique was refined in various ways and became virtually tamper-proof. One of the refinements was to make the two halves of the stick of different lengths. The longer part was called stock and was given to the party which had advanced money, the receiver. The shorter portion of the stick was called foil and was given to the party which had received the funds or goods. Using this technique, each of the parties had an identifiable record of the transaction. The natural irregularities in the surfaces of the tallies where they were split would mean that only the original two halves would fit back together perfectly, and so would verify that they were matching halves of the same transaction. If one party tried to unilaterally change the value of his half of the tally stick by adding more notches, the absence of those notches would be apparent on the other party's tally stick. The split tally was accepted as legal proof in medieval courts. The system of tally marks of the exchequer is described in the dialogue concerning the exchequer as follows. The manner of cutting is as follows. At the top of the tally a cut is made, the thickness of the palm of the hand, to represent 1,000 pounds, then 100 pounds by a cut the breadth of a thumb, 20 pounds, the breadth of the little finger, a single pound, the width of a swollen barley corn, a shilling rather narrower, then a penny is marked by a single cut without removing any wood. The cuts were made the full width of the stick so that, after splitting, the portion kept by the issuer, the stock, exactly matched the piece, the foil, given as a receipt. Each stick had to have the details of the transaction written on it, in ink, to make it a valid record. End of tally sticks. The split tally of the exchequer remained in continuous use in England until 1826. In 1834, tally sticks representing 6 centuries' worth of financial records were ordered to be burned in a stove in the Houses of Parliament. The resulting fire set the chimney ablaze and then spread until most of the building was destroyed. Tally sticks first appear as animal bones carved with notches during the Upper Paleolithic, Old Stone Age period. A notable example is the Ishango bone. That's all of today's concept.